Hey guys, you're watching the one and only. My name is AJ. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Build an Alcatraz style prison. Progression is really being made. Today I want to do the final two exterior buildings that we have. Hopefully the interiors of them as well, obviously. But what we got so far, we've got so far missing the interior to the reception. That's a big job. We're also missing the interior to the warden's house. That's sort of a medium-sized job. We do have the power building and interior done. The execution room and interior will be done today. The import or the number plate factory building is done with an interior. The storage room is done but with no interior, but there's only going to be crates and stuff like that on the inside of that anyway. The exterior and interior of the kennels is done, and then we've got the morgue to do. This is where if we get and when we get dead villagers, prisoners, and it's prisoners, which does happen if prisoners have like life sentences and they end up dying inside prisoner for whatever reason, old age or fights or whatever, then we need somewhere to be able to sort out their bodies and to be able to get them off the island. So I thought, I don't want it inside the prison. We're going to have an infirmary inside the prison, which I think is just like doctors or hospital-y type thing where they can treat injured or ill patients, but dead ones will come outside. We're going to do that today, hopefully. We've got the lighthouse done, but no interior. I'm not sure what we're going to do on the interior of that, though. And apart from that, that's all the exterior buildings done. Obviously, there's a lot more greenery and trees that we want to do around the area, but the majority of the exterior of the island itself is finished, which is going to be really, really cool. A little bit of work, but I'm very, very happy with the progression. While we build these buildings today, which shouldn't be too difficult to do. In fact, let's start with the walls. I hopefully want to talk about a story that I have told before on the channel, but I can't remember how long ago I mentioned it. And for any new subscribers, they wouldn't have heard about the story. And I think it's a pretty good story. Well, it's a rant more than a story. Obviously, to fit with the theme of this episode being sort of prison, I'm going to talk about police and nearly getting arrested. I have never been arrested, ever. Never have I been arrested. Thankfully, I've been a good boy, and I have no criminal record. I've never really been in trouble with the police. I've had a couple of close ones, though, through really no fault of my own, apart from, I suppose, being in the place where the police ended up coming. And there was some silly ones, like when I was 17, and I first got my car, like all my friends, when they got their first car. We used to meet up in car parks. I'm sure some of you, if you're new to driving, you've probably done the same thing. And if you're too young to drive, you've probably seen young drivers all meet up in car parks, and some of them end up messing about. It was a time, I don't think it happens that much anymore. I think that the phase has sort of passed in the car community. But I grew up in the time where people liked to put big speakers in the back of their cars, and like in the boot, and they had it all loud and really techy and stuff like that. And it was really fun to do. It was a really nice community. I don't think it happens that much now. You do sometimes see people with loud music and the big subwoofers in the back of their car, and it's just not as common anymore. It's not cool to do anymore. That's gone. That's bygone years. But we were in a car park, not messing about. Nobody, in fact, was messing about. Usually you end up getting one person being a little bit silly, but no one was messing about. No one was doing donuts in the car park or burning out or anything like that. Just listen to music, and the music was at a reasonable volume. It was absolutely fine. We're in a car park. There's not really any, if not many, houses and buildings about. But the police came. What floor do I want in here? A stone brick, not monster egg. But the police came, and this police car came down the road, and I instantly knew that they were coming to us. Even though, ow, hit my elbow. Even though we had done nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. I knew that they were coming over to us in the car park. There was no lights on, you know, no lights or sirens, you know, it wasn't like an emergency to get to us. But this police officer came out. She was a lady, female police officer, came out, and she said, what do I want for lights in here? She didn't say, what do I want for lights in here? I think I'm going to go with beacons. I think a red beacon, though, would be cool. She came over, and she said, we've had some complaints. And everybody sort of looked, and everybody was a little confused, because there was nothing, for once, I suppose, for anybody to complain about. Sometimes there was a few people that played the music way too loud, or people were, you know, messing about in their cars, or like doing little mini drag races and stuff in the car park. But this time, there was nothing, so we all looked a little bit confused, and she said, we've had complaints that you've been doing burnouts in the car park. And we all sort of looked at each other like, huh? That doesn't make any... That red looks cool. That doesn't make any sense. How has she worked that out? And she goes, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give everybody here what's known as a section... I don't like these lights. I'm going to have to do something with that. I like the lights, I just don't like how it was. We're going to give everybody here a Section 59. If you don't know what a Section 59 is, it won't surprise me. A Section 59 is a warning, if you like. A warning that goes on to the car and the driver. And if you get one of these Section 59 warnings, you have to be very, very careful in future. Because if you get two... If a car or a person gets two Section 59 warnings, you end up getting your car taken away from you. Your car gets impounded, and then you have to pay to get it back or something. I don't know. I've never had it done to me, luckily. And she said, I'm going to give you all Section 59. So there was about 6 of us there. 6 of us, I suppose. We're here. And I said, no. I said, hold on. And I was trying to be... The thing with the police is that you have to be very careful about what you say and how you say it. Because if you say it wrong, you end up in a lot more trouble. Because I wanted to try and get through to her, or try and understand what proof she sort of had. But obviously you can't say proof, because that makes it sound like you're arguing with the police. So I said, if we were doing burnouts and, you know, and burning the rubber, wouldn't you be able to smell it? And she said, yeah. I said, can you smell any rubber? And she said, no, I can't. I said, okay. I said, can you see any tire prints on the floor? No, she said, I can't see any tire prints on the floor, you know, from where you've been burning out. I said, well, we couldn't have been doing any burnouts then or anything, because obviously if we had, they would still be there. Obviously we can't remove the black marks from the road, can we? That's the execution chair, by the way. I thought it looked pretty cool. I want a big switch on the wall as well to be able to turn it on. So I said that obviously is wrong information. And can you hear any music? And she said, no, I can't hear any music. I said, well, you can't give us a Section 59 then, because we haven't done anything wrong. As you have no proof. And besides that, we hadn't actually done anything wrong. So anyway, she sort of moaned and sort of grumped a little bit, and ended up letting us go. Ended up walking away. And the police car went back down the road, and we just carried on like normal. And that was it. And that was all that really came of it, luckily. And we didn't get away with anything because we didn't do anything wrong. But I was glad that I was the only one that spoke up and said anything. And I'm glad I did, because we would have all got Section 59. I don't really want that, because it stays on your record. And I really don't want that. I love this execution room. Let's just run through this before the next story. We've got the cell to hold the prisoner in. I probably want to have a bed in here. I think they usually spend one night in here, don't they? I'm pretty sure that they spend one night in the executioner's cell, and that's where they have their last meal, and then they get brought out. They get like put on the seat while they wait and get set up and stuff like that in the handcuffs. Then they get moved into the chair. It's so cool. Get moved into the chair. The little, I've used a yellow beacon, but that's going to be like the little helmet that goes on, like little power helmet thing. Goes on, they get strapped down, their arms get strapped down onto here, and then electrocution happens. I like it. It's such a cute little room. Anyway, on to the next story. The next story is one that happened to me, and I nearly ended up getting in trouble for no reason, wrongly. And I was going down the road, driving down the road, and still in the same car with all my... This was when I still had all my speakers in the car. In fact, if you guys are a new subscriber and you don't know too much about my previous cars, my first car was a BMW 3 Series. And it had loads of speakers in it. It had, I think, four 15-inch subwoofers in it, 6 by 9-inch speakers, and a few tweeters. It had an Xbox 360 in it. It had 3 TVs in it. 3 TVs, one in the boot, one roof mounted, and one in the dashboard that came out. It was like proper Pimp My Ride style, if you know what I mean. If any of you guys used to watch Pimp My Ride, man, that was a good show. And it was a really fun car to have as a first car. So I was going down the road in it with a friend in the car, and this friend that I had was a little bit of a loudmouth, which really didn't help the situation as it progressed, as this story is going to progress. Because I was going around a roundabout in my local town, and there was a police car sitting just off the roundabout, like just waiting for people to go past. Which is fair enough, they can do that. And I drift past, and as soon as I drift past, the police car pulled out behind me and followed me. Didn't do anything, just followed me, so I continued on driving. And about half a mile, I would say, half a mile later, police car put its lights on and puts its sirens on. So I pull over, obviously. I pull over to the side of the road, and I wait in the car, and the police officer comes over and says, you've a female police officer again, another female police officer, and she says, you've got a headlight out on your car. Oh, have I? I didn't think that I had, but so I got out of the car and I went round, and sure enough, she wasn't lying. My headlight was out, and I was like, I don't really understand how this is out. I've never had a problem with my headlights before. So I popped the bonnet, I opened the bonnet up, or if you're in America, it's the hood, and I fiddled around with the connection, and it was just a loose connection. It was probably a little bit dirty or wet or something like that. The car was getting a little bit old then, so that sort of thing was to be expected. And boom, it came on. The light came on, and I said, let's come back on. All right, she said, and didn't really have a problem. Didn't really have a problem. Was gonna let me go, and she said, "Oh, just before you go," she says, "I'm just gonna run your car through the AMPR system, which is basically like a database that police officers have access to, and this database is full of information like if your vehicle is taxed, or if you have insurance, and if you have MOT, as well as like warnings of wanted drivers or wanted people and stuff like that." And obviously I had insurance, and I had tax, and my car was MOT'd. I thought this won't be a problem, we'll be away in a minute. Anyway, she came back and she said, your car's got no insurance. I said, it does. She says, not according to the AMPR system. It doesn't have any insurance on it. And I said, I argued with her because I knew I had insurance because I paid through the teeth for it. I was only 17 years old and I had a BMW. And if any of you guys know anything about insurances, you'll know that it gets very, very, I like this roof. It gets very, very expensive to insure any car when you're that age, let alone a customized car. I had big wheels on it, big alloy shiny wheels, special tires on it, tinted windows, and all these modifications were absolutely terrible for insurance. They made it cost an absolute colossal amount of money. In fact, it used to cost me £5,000, which in dollars is about between 7 and 8, maybe even more at the time. Let's say 8. It could be 7, it could be 9, but let's say $8,000 if you're in America, if you're using American money, US dollars, to insure my car. That's what I had to pay every year, $8,000 or £5,000 to insure it. And obviously, when you pay that much, you're pretty sure when you've paid it or not. Like, if I hadn't paid it, I would have known it, because I would have been an awful lot richer than what I currently was at the time. And I said, no, I said, you've got your information wrong. I said, the computer is wrong. I can guarantee you that I have insurance. And she went, no. She says, I'm taking your car away. I'm impounding the car. You'll have to pay however much it is to get it back. It's like £120 plus £60 storage per day to get it back. And I said, no. I said, you're not impounding my car. And I was getting a little bit annoyed now. I said, you're not impounding my car. I've done nothing wrong. I've got insurance. I can prove that I've got insurance. I've got all the paperwork at home. Your computer's wrong. And anyway, my friend got out of the car, or he's not my friend now, but he was my friend at the time, and he got out of the car, and he'd had a little bit to drink. He had a little bit of alcohol, and obviously alcohol and arguments never go well together anyway, because you don't really 100% know what you're saying, and you always feel like an idiot the next day when you realise some of the stuff that you've said. And he started arguing with this police officer. Anyway, he argued, not physical, just shouting at this female police officer, and the police officer ended up calling on her radio. She said, "I need backup. The people, suspects, or whatever. I don't know what they'd call us. Can't remember what she called us. Are being aggressive," which is incorrect. I wasn't being aggressive, but I can understand why she called in backup. My friend was a big guy, a lot taller than me. I'm about 5'10". I'm actually quite short, and my friend was very, very tall. So when she called for backup, I knew that this wasn't going to go quite as well as what we wanted it to from that point onwards. Well, within about 2 or 3 minutes, we had another 2 cop cars turn up, one of which was, I don't need beds in a morgue, do I? Yeah, I can have some beds. One of which was the sergeant, the police officer sergeant, the big guy, the most important, one in the station. And he was a really tall guy. I'm not kidding you. He was absolutely massive. And he got out of his car and he came over and he said, what's going on here? And the police officer explained to him what was gone on and how we were being aggressive. I wasn't being aggressive, but how my friend was being aggressive. And he ended up nearly arresting us. But I said, no, your computer, says that I have no insurance on this vehicle, and it does. Can you check? So the sergeant went, no, he was a real pain. He was a real bad word. He was a terrible, terrible police officer. And no, he says, I'm not checking for you. If she says that you've got no insurance, then you have no insurance. Our computers aren't wrong, which isn't true. Those computers can be wrong, as I ended up proving, but as the TV shows have even proven as well in the past. Like the police shows, they do say sometimes the computer can be wrong. So he ended up calling the recovery truck, and the recovery truck arrived. It's been, I would say, about an hour and a half now total waiting for the recovery truck to arrive. It's now about 1 o'clock in the morning, so it's pitch black and it's winter. Pitch black, and the recovery truck arrived, loaded my car onto the back. I watched very, very closely because my car was very low down. As I say, it was like Fast and Furious style car, so there wasn't like much room between the floor and the bumper. So when they were loading it onto the recovery truck, I was very much looking very closely, monitoring it to make sure that they didn't scratch. I was annoyed at this point, you see, so I was trying to sort of annoy them back by just standing close and watching. Loaded the car on. The car went on fine, and he said, right, he says, I'll see you later. I said, what? I said, how are we supposed to get home? And he says, not my problem. Anyway, I said, well, I haven't got any money. I haven't got any money to get home. I can't get a bus. I can't get a taxi. And I'm 11 or 12 miles away from my house. I live in the middle of nowhere, so my nearest town is actually quite far away. And he said, no. He says, that's you should have thought of that before taking a car out that had no insurance or something along that line. Just to annoy me. You know, the sort of thing that he would say just to annoy me. Weather clear. And so it's pitch black, and the road that leads to my house is a dual carriageway, so like a very fast road with no paths, 2 lanes either side, you know, like how a dual carriageway is. You're not allowed to walk down them, but it's the only road back. So I said to him, what, you're gonna allow me to walk down a road that I'm not allowed to walk down? I was dressed in black clothes, like I had a black hoodie on at the time because it was the thing to wear. I haven't wore a hoodie in I don't know how long. Yep, he said. So anyway, he said, we're not a taxi service, which I can understand. They're not taxi services, but I did expect them to do something, I must admit. So we started walking home, and about 2 miles, I'm not joking you here, about 2 miles down the road, the police car that pulled us over drive past us to make sure that we were driving home. How ridiculous is that? So anyway, I ended up calling up a friend who came and picked me up. Luckily, because I wasn't going to walk down that road. I'm not stupid. And so he ended up picking me up, and came home the next day. I looked through my filing cabinet where I keep all my important documents, and boom, there was my insurance certificate, insurance details. By the way, we'll just take a break for a moment because I've got, these are the drawers that they pull out and they have the body stored in a morgue. Do you know what I mean? You've seen them on CSIs. They pull them out and then they can study them. I've got like fresh bodies here for analysis, or what they called when they like try and find out how they die. I can't remember. And then we've got like tables for like the medical tools and stuff like that. Some shelves for some other stuff. There's some shelves on there. I really like it. I think that looks really nice. Okay, so anyway, so I pulled out my insurance documents. Yeah, I'm insured. It's in date. It's valid. The computer must have been wrong. This is proof. So I went down to the police station and showed them the documents. Showed them my documents, and they ended up apologising. Got my I had to go and get my car. I had to drive ages. They took my car to this place that was so far away. I don't know why they used that one, that impound. I got my car out. I still had to pay for it though, even though they wrongly impounded my car. I got an apology from the what's he called, the big guy, the tall one. What did I say he was? Sergeant. That's it. From the sergeant, I got an apology from the sergeant, and he did apologize for impounding the car incorrectly. It was an error with their system. Apparently, it either hadn't been updated or there was no like signal to get like the correct information, so it just came up with error. But yeah, I had to go and get it out. That was really, really annoying. I had to pay, I think it ended up being about £150 by the time I was able to get it out. It was like £140, I think. It was £120 for them taking the car away in the first place, and then it was £20 for the one night that it was there. Which is ridiculous, isn't it? But anyway, that's all that we've got time for today, unfortunately. I do have another couple of police stories, but we'll have to do that another episode, maybe next episode. We've got the morgue done. We've got the morgue done, and we've got the execution room. I love both rooms. I think they're so cool. And you guys got to learn a little bit about my my police troubles. I might have I think I got one more story that doesn't involve me, but another story I can tell maybe next episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you haven't already, then feel free to subscribe. Whoops. We shall see you in the next episode.